We always, when we go to Daytona or Talladega, we focus on the big one. It can happen. And we were just talking during the break about 2001 when your then teammate Tony Stewart went up and over you. So you've had a front row seat for this thing.
He thought he would like get up there and lead. I said, sure, I'll be hanging out in the back and see what happens. And sure enough, he flipped. And I'm like, oh, he's going to land on top. Oh. 20 cars later, he lands on top of me.
Wow.
Coach Gibbs was not pleased about trying to do all that. But anyway, it did happen. It will happen at Daytona for sure.
Added anxiety for a crew chief, even though you know you're not going to be involved, but
it is. You try to relax because you know you can come by the line in first, you can come by the line in 20th, a lap later, and you try to be relaxed, but it's hard to be when you're hearing the spotter yelling in your ear, 3 wide, 3 wide. So it's definitely anxious.
Okay, so let's take a look back at some of the more memorable wrecks at the Daytona 500. Don't forget to vote, foxsports.com. Take a look at this one. We started it with Richard Petty, and there it is, 8 times. It was the first restrictor plate race. How'd that work out?
Nope.
No.
How is it the guy won there 7 times and all we're showing is wrecks and heartbreak?
Yeah.
I hope Richard's not watching today.
He's exciting. Then the pace car driver hit him.
Bobby and Davey, 1-2.
Hey, we go to 1993 and Rusty Wallace. Now, Dale Jarrett won this race, but way before that, Wallace with an incredible crash on the back straightaway. You know, Rusty, another one of those drivers in the NASCAR Hall of Fame that didn't win the Daytona 500. And when you ask him his thoughts back on memories of the Great American Race, this is one he always brings up. What a scary, scary moment.
Yeah, I would remember this one if this happened to me, too. Absolutely. Yep. All right, 1997. Larry McReynolds on top of the pit box. Jeff Gordon makes the pass, and Dale Earnhardt goes around. What a scary moment. But you guys do remember that he would climb from the car, but he brought that car back down pit road. They tried to, get it all fixed up and back on the track, and he was recorded as finishing the race. So look at that, working on that baby. Larry McReynolds can put anything back together, can't you, Larry Mack?
If you heard that story and said what driver pulled it off, you just automatically say, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to bet Earnhardt. I mean, who else gets back in a wrecked race car and finishes the race? Okay, those were good moments, but there were a few others we wanted to hit on, including 2003, the image you see right there, it was Ryan Newman going for a tumble.
2003.
Oh, man. Comes Schrader, and Newman is in the air and over. Ryan Newman, last year's Rookie of the Year. The rear end ripped from the car.
Look at that thing lift up, Larry.
Just takes off like an airplane.
That's 3,400 pounds, folks. Just lifting up in the air like a feather.
Wow.
You heard Mike Joyce say in the piece, last year's Rookie of the Year, Newman won that award over Jimmy Johnson, which is pretty spectacular. So we saw in the fantastic finishes 2007, Harvick beating Mark Martin. This is what happened behind him. A huge melee and involved Clint Boyer, who slides across the start-finish line on his roof. And then once he gets into the infield grass, lands on all 4 tires, the car catching on fire.